What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and Everton have just drew 3-3 with Blackpool at Blackpool. Again, let's talk about the first half first of all, John. The first 20 minutes. What was your take on it?
Well, Blackpool looked like the Premier League team to me, and I think Everton turns up there carrying that same mentality that took us from the Bournemouth game at Goodison, where we lost our unbeaten record, that we had at Goodison. A lot of the players that started that game today, I'd like to think, won't start the first game of the season against Tottenham, but they did come back into it, and it was the defence was shocking. Mason Holgate was to blame. I thought Pickford could have done better with a couple of goals. But as I say, we did come into it, and we started getting our foot on the ball. We pushed further up the field and we started creating chances. Mm. And, we pulled it back. We scored one, then we scored another one from a penalty. The first one was given us an own goal. And then we got it back to 3-3. And Everton, it was all Everton, and they were pushing forward and they were looking for that break. They were looking for that chance. And listen, Everton could have won it, but when you're 3-0 down, pre-season or not, when you've got that blue shirt on, as I keep saying, you should be playing for the club. You should be playing to win. And we did. We got a draw out of it. After the first 20 minutes performance, if it was a Premier League game, do we take a draw all day?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because the thing that annoyed me about the first half was how easy the goals was. And look, they scored their third literally straight after their second, which was, embarrassing to say the fucking least. Sorry, Thompson. Oh dear. Oh mate, I'm sorry. It was disappointing the first 20 minutes because Blackpool haven't played since March, and we went into the game and it was just rough. It was just a rough start. We couldn't get our foot on the ball. There was no composure in the midfield. Davies didn't start great. It just wasn't good. And I think what I will say is the fact that Everton they were just slow. They were just slow to start, the cohesion, and Blackpool took full advantage of that really early on. I mean, they scored after a couple of minutes. There was opportunities, they had a couple of opportunities where they could have scored at will, in the first 20 minutes. But as soon as it went 3-0, Everton it was almost like they'd had a rocket up the backside, and they turned up and they went, right, how are we going to get a result now? And look, I'm not gonna sit here and say it was a stellar performance, but it was better. Moise Kean was trying to get on the ball. Anthony Gordon was trying to get on the ball. I saw a different side of Sigurdsson, which I haven't saw in a while, which is a side where he was just simply trying to make things happen. And he scored a couple of goals and did get an assist, but at least we sort of stepped up, and that was a different mentality to what we had last season, where fundamentally we just would have bottled it and finished it and not been bothered about what had just happened. At least Everton changed that and stepped up, and they did manage to sort of scrape a result.
Yeah, I think with Gylfi Sigurdsson, what impressed me there, and listen, I don't want Gylfi Sigurdsson anywhere near the team, against Tottenham, but he had the balls to get the ball and, for the penalty, and he was having a few where I can't even remember the player he was talking to, who was going to take the pen, but, he had the balls to step up and he took it, and could have had a hat-trick today. And as you say, that was a different side to Gylfi Sigurdsson we see. Is it enough to impress me to say he should be starting every week? No. Listen, this was Blackpool at the end of the day. It's a pre-season friendly. It's a very short pre-season. We start the season in a month's time, and we've got 2 games to go. Now, new players need to come in and bed into that team within the next 2 games. We've got Blackpool, and our last pre-season friendly is against Preston North End at Goodison Park. Carlo Ancelotti has to have his team in place by then. Yeah. He has to have his tactics. He has to have his formation. A lot of these players who come on today, you've got your Blasies, who I thought he'd done okay, but listen, this is against Blackpool. Besic, come on. They're not going to be in the starting lineup, but I'd like to think they're not going to be in the starting lineup. But what I will say about Mohamed Besic is he gives us more than the likes of Tom Davies. Again, Tom Davies didn't impress me today. He should be playing a lot better against teams like that, Michael, and he didn't. He still went missing. Gylfi Sigurdsson got into the game more. Moise Keane didn't really get... Listen, when Everton score 3 goals in a pre-season friendly against Blackpool, I'd like to think Moise Keane can get himself on the score sheet, but he didn't get the service. Andre Gomez wasn't there, and if we bring the 2 midfielders in that we've been linked with, that allowed Andre Gomez to push up further, which you might see the best of Moise Keane then.
Yeah, and I hope we did. And he played on the wing today for a lot of the game. And I said to you, I said at the start of the game, he looks like he's done some work in pre-season. He looks a bit more built. Yeah. He looks a little bit more direct. He weren't trying to do as many fancy flicks, but he still had that in his locker. And I was quite impressed at times with Moise Keane. And obviously, look, I just want to see him working hard, getting his head down, grafting, and just trying to carry Everton up the pitch, because that's what we've lacked. Another player that come on today, and I'm going to give him a massive shout out, is our new left back. I can't pronounce his name. I'm not even going to bother trying. But he looked really lively. He was taking people on. He was getting shots off. And I was really, really impressed with how ambitious he was to get forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, Baines, he's left the club in a playing capacity. I did see something today that they are trying to sort a deal out to bring him back in some way, shape or form. And then we were all questioning it. Well, will we have to bring a left back in now? Well, from what I've seen today, he's very capable. I know it was, it's not the Premier League. It's a lot tougher. But he got forward. He got a shot off. He's fast. He's well built, and did he do enough to become number 2 at Everton today? Listen, only the other pre-season games will tell. But from what I've seen today, as you say quite rightly, Michael, he impressed, and he didn't look out of place playing within a Premier League team, and he's 19 years of age. So hopefully, that'll give the board of directors something to think about and think, well, hang on a minute, do we need to replace Baines? Can he step up to the plate now? He is only young, a bit like the young kid Branthwaite. Is he ready for the first team? Listen, he was quite quiet today, Branthwaite. I thought that the defence as a whole for the goals that we conceded were poor. Pickford didn't help. I thought he could have done a bit better with a couple of the goals. But listen, I keep saying this, it is about pre-season. Marcel Brands has had another look at the players. He's had a look at the players who have been out on loan, your Balassis, your Besic's, and let's see where we go from here. But I think it will be a completely different setup, even for the next friendly. I expect us to have at least 2 players in by then.
Yeah, and another player I just want to talk about is Balassi. He came on, he looked fairly lively. Don't get me wrong, his distribution's not great. He wasn't brilliant, but he offered more energy than players like Iwobi. And this is where I get it's difficult for me to think that we spent so much money on these players. 28 million on Balassi, 35 million on Iwobi. I question where we are as a team at this minute in time. And look, it's only one pre-season game. We've scored 3 goals. It was 3-3 against a League One Blackpool side that season finished in March. And I question what this squad's going to look like at the start of the season, because I'm telling you now, it needs a lot of changes.
Yeah. I asked this question on the stream before. Did Ancelotti really know what he was coming into? Because I'm telling you now, he doesn't need the money, as I said before. This squad is probably the worst squad that he's inherited as a football manager. We've got one of the best managers in the world, but we've got one of the poorest squads in the world, Michael. For the money we've spent on that squad, it needs a lot of work doing. I can't see us getting any more than 4 players in. In my opinion, we need a lot more than that. But listen, the 4 players we're going to bring in will be a lot better than what we've got. And I also said, you've got the likes of your Wobbies, you've got the likes of your Jordan Pickfords. They've got no one challenging them for them spots. Your Tom Davies is another one. They've got no one behind them saying, well, if you're not going to perform, I'm after your spot.
Yeah.
And I think the players who are in the squad now, who've been there for a couple of years, have become quite lax with that, and they think, well, hang on a minute, I'm going to be on that team sheet every week, so it makes no difference to me. And that's why we need the players in now, to give these players a kick up the arse, to have someone challenging for their spot.
Yep, can't argue with that. So I'm just going to go through some of the comments just very quickly. Aaron Hampson, all right, lads. All right, Aaron. Thank you ever so much for watching the stream as well. The watch along got 13,000 views. Unbelievable. Do you think we should get rid of Holgate? Absolutely not.
No.
Cy Thompson. Well, shouldn't have let my 3-year-old grandson watch your YouTube channel video with me this morning. He now knows how to say, "What the fuck was that?" That's probably your fault there, John. Cy Thompson, lads, thank lads, I'm in my daughter's bad books. Look, there was a consensus during that stream that I would say 90% of the people were fine with the swearing and 10% weren't. So, look, I apologise, but at the end of the day, being 3-0 down to Blackpool, I'm not a saint, nor's John. I'm more than happy to say that I'm probably going to swear being 3-0 down to any team. Even 1-0 down, I'm probably going to swear so. John Broadhurst, what do Everton get out of playing Blackpool each wrong? It's just fitness. It was just fitness today, don't you think, John?
I think, to be fair, you're going to find a lot of teams for their pre-season games will play closer to home because...
Yeah.
If you go abroad to certain parts of the world, when you come home, you've got to quarantine unless you're Liverpool. You know, they've gone to a place where if you come back from there on holiday, you've got to quarantine. But for some reason, their players haven't got a quarantine. So I think you're going to find a lot of teams who are going to play closer to home because it's hard to sort out friendlies against teams in the current situation, you know. So, listen, as Michael says, it is all about fitness. Yeah, we'd all love to be playing a better opposition, you know, to get us up to speed, to give us tougher games. We've got Blackburn coming up. Then we finish our pre-season against Preston. We normally have 6 or 7 pre-season games, but we've got 3 because it's such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Yes, I do want to see us playing better, bigger teams. Can we at the minute? Probably not. And I think you're going to find that with a lot of teams as well.
Yeah, rumours are going around that our third game will be Rangers, just so everyone's aware. I don't know for fact.
Preston North End was put out today by one of the Echo writers. I know it is the Echo, but it was the Everton pundit, and it is Preston North End at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, a few comments there, just about standard. Why have we spent so much money for some players not to be even on their toes, run and close down? Well, well, Lee, I completely agree with you. Lee Rogers there, completely agree. John Broadhurst, I got a train ticket for Newcastle. Goodbye, Davis. Lee Babington, why get rid of... Oh, yeah, she was responding. Sport botches, Pickford shit. Yeah. Not going to argue. Michael James, John, Besic is pathetic, not a completed pass. I'm not going to disagree with that. I just think our whole midfield is pathetic. I think Davis is pathetic, Besic is pathetic. You know, if you'd have said to me 4 years ago, or whenever it was, when Mashiri come out and the whole new season, and it was the branding was nothing will be the same, and actually it's a million times worse, I'd have laughed. Because I never have believed it. This is pathetic now, unfortunately, and it is what it is. King Arthur USA, great haircut, John.
Cheers, King. My missus didn't do this one, but she looked after me in the lockdown. But although she did do this one, actually, I haven't been back to a hairdresser's yet, unfortunately. It will get better even than what it is because she's a hairdresser, she's not a barber. Yeah. But thank you very much. John
Broadhurst, Pickford should be in the new Batman film. Little arms. Soba Boyo Numero Uno, did Besic really play? Well, no, he didn't. Pop Children's, keep Sigurdsson. No, I'd still get rid of him. He's had one good game or one average game against Blackpool, but it's Blackpool, League One side, so I'm not really bothered about him. Adamski, pick any 11 fans. They will play better than our starters because none of them have any passion. Can't agree with that. Pop Childs, we got battered by Blackburn last season. Don't worry, guys. Mark Perry, new signings need to start coming in from Monday onwards. That midfield is awful.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, listen, the defence looked shaky today. You know, we were 3-0 down after, I think it was 15 minutes. A lot of mistakes in the defence. We all know the positions we need filling. Ancelotti's biggest ask is for the centre midfield.
Yeah.
Not just one, in my opinion. It's more. We need more than one there. We do need a winger. Depends on how Moyes Keane starts the season. We see where we are in January. I know the season starts and we've still got a couple of weeks left in the window. This is a big couple of months for Moyes Keane deciding whether we go for a centre forward, you know, and we need someone to score goals, Michael. You know, if you go through our team, and this is a good question to ask the folks, where do our goals come from? You know, we can't go into a season wondering where our goals come from. If you look at the team over the park, they have 4, 5, 6 players who you could bank on scoring quite regular. If you look at Man City, they've got goal scorers through the season. You look at our team, who would you put money on in a bookies before the game on a Saturday that you were going to bet on the first goal scorer? You're struggling, aren't you?
Yeah. And that's the problem, you know. We've got Richarlison, who we know is going to work hard. Graphs, you know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I certainly still think the jury's out, but he had a better half of the season, so you know, he gets more time, obviously. But yeah, I completely agree. I'm just going to read through some of these last comments then. Richie Trad. Well done, lads. 13,000 views. How confident are each of you will be proud of our team at the end of next season? I personally will be proud as long as we achieve better than we did this season. I'm expecting next season to be quite rough. I'm not expecting Everton to be pushing top 4 or top 6. I think next season's a building season. So we'll see. John, what about you?
Yeah, totally agree. I think it's a transitional period now for Everton. You know, we've got the manager there, Carlo Ancelotti. I think he's being told there isn't going to be shitloads of money to spend. I know you mentioned in the watch along that Everton have took another loan out with Metro Bank and they've remortgaged on a remortgage. But I think the second season for Ancelotti is the big one, in my opinion. I think, you know, you're going to see massive changes at Everton slowly but surely. I think he's come in and he's realised how poor the squad is. But listen, when you've got a squad that poor, it doesn't change overnight. And we are going to have to take the rough with the smooth. I'll be happy with a top 8, top 10 finish next season. It's going to have its bumps. It's going to have its ups and downs. Listen, we're all excited for a new season to start, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Even if we bring better quality players in, we're still left with a lot of the shit deadwood that we've got.
Yeah. Toffee Mac, you're a level below Toffee TV. I'd just like to say we're not. And they have the opportunity to do it as a job. We don't. Mitchell Blazon, you have to look at how the swearing is delivered and its intentions. It's perfectly fine. So much has been made of swearing in this in today. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah. I'm not going to not stop swearing. Jesus Christ, this is, everyone knows the channel. It's been going 3 years. I've been swearing since day one. As long as Sadibi's not around, John's not too bad. 5K, Richarlison brings the team down, in my opinion. Well, fair enough, mate, that's your opinion. And John Broadhurst, Brands is a joke, let him go. Look, I'm absolutely not against that comment, so let me just put that out there. Guys, I think we're going to leave it. John, who's your man of the match?
Got to give it to Sigurdsson for the 2 goals, you know, and he had the balls to stand up for the penalty. Wasn't as great as performance. He does need to improve. Do I think he gets the chance to improve if we bring these midfielders in? No, but listen, anyone who scores 2 goals and gets us back into the game gets man of the match for me.
Yeah. Mitchell Blazon, I'm agreeing with you. I agree with you as well, Mitch. And Toffee Mac, wool you, lad. Your mum. Right, guys, I'll see you soon. Have a fantastic day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Guys, peace. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, folks.
There you go.